Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Markets Hunter. I am your host, Hunter Gaylor, coming to you again live here on Tuesday. This is Tuesday the 25th, and we've got an exciting program today. Just a couple of little housekeeping. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Twitter is the new X now for everyone that's following, so it's Xing, I guess, is what we're going to be calling it now. For everyone that's following. But a really great program that we have today. We're going to be bringing in John Silseth, who's the CEO of REV Technologies. Now, I have to say before we get into this, I am very excited about this product innovation. I'm excited about this marketplace and industry in general, not just from an investment perspective, but just from an overall passion perspective. I love American-made auto. I love the auto industry, especially racing. I've been following it ever since I was a kid. So I'm personally passionate and interested in where the conversation is going to go, where the company's going to go, and what they're doing. So without further ado, make sure you like and subscribe. You'll see all the information in the banner below. And always, this will be across all platforms following this, and follow us on Twitter. A lot of information is going to be going there. So without further ado, I'd like to bring you REV Technologies. And welcome to the program, John, CEO of REV Technologies. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Thanks for joining me today.
Glad to be here. Thank you, Hunter.
Well, I don't know about you and our audience, but that video preview of the StreetFighter really gets me excited. I mean, this thing is the coolest thing that I have seen, and so I just really kind of want to dive right into it with you, John. You're obviously a pioneer in the industry. You've got an incredible background, which we'll get into, but I'd like to go right into the StreetFighter. This is a new product category. Can you kind of describe what sets this apart and the type of category that this is from an auto perspective?
Well, really, the StreetFighter, we incorporate race-to-road technologies. And what we've done, we've taken a little bit of DNA from a jet fighter, a race car, and a motorcycle, and package that all into one. And we've got a race-inspired cockpit. We've got race suspension, aerodynamics, and the things you'd see as race technology into a power sports vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, from just the design and the look of it and the specifications, it's this convergence of three markets, right? And as I have some of my notes here that I'm looking at, when you talk about race-to-road performance market, can you just go into a little bit about what that means for the audience's sake? I mean, we know we're looking at the McLaren, Ferrari, that type of income demographic that likes these types of high performance, but road-to-race technology, let's dive into that a little bit.
Certainly. In race-to-road technology, if you look at the United States market, Ferrari sells about 3,500 units a year. McLaren in the United States sells about 700 units a year. And the average income for one of these purchasers is about $500,000 a year. Mm-hmm. So we converge into that market where the average income of a StreetFighter can be $100,000 a year, giving them an opportunity to own an exotic vehicle.
Well, speaking of an exotic vehicle, when we think about these high-end, racing brands and names like a Ferrari or McLaren or Bugatti or, Lamborghini, these are serious high performance, right? So people, I think, like the speed, they like the beauty of the car, the way it's designed, and obviously looking from the pictures and everything we've seen with the video, this is we're looking at a top line of 40,000. This is going to compete with things like the Polaris Slingshot. You're saying you are a high performance vehicle. Give us some of the statistics. Give us the horsepower. Give us the 0 to 60. What are we looking at there?
Well, the StreetFighter can be configured into an all carbon fiber bodywork. and it's configurable up to 530 horsepower, with the base model having over 300 horsepower. So it's a serious machine which will get you revved up, where the thrill comes from when you hit the acceleration and your rate of acceleration is at an increase. The brain tries to figure out where you are, and for a couple seconds, like being on a roller coaster with that kind of acceleration, it's quite the heart-pounding experience.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it looks like it. 530 horsepower. That's pretty big for an all carbon fiber, vehicle outlay, which is good. I know I want to go into your background because there's some famous brands here. Viper Motorcycles, obviously world renowned. You were the past president of Norton Motorcycles. You obviously have the experience in developing and manufacturing. So just a little walkthrough about your background, how you got into this, and then really the convergence of what led you to REV Technologies.
Well, really my background was developing product, bringing it to market, and going through federal homologation to make sure it's safe through type approvals. And in looking at the right timing for a product like this, we wanted to be a leader in the electric wave. And the next generation of the electric wave is putting fun into an electric vehicle. And we feel this does that. So with my background, I understand the processes of what we need to do the StreetFighter is classified federally as a motorcycle. So I understand what it takes through federal regulation to get that approved, with the various states having some auto cycle laws.
So with that, because it is a 3-wheel from the opening video that we saw here, is it going to be covered? Is it going to be uncovered? Are there going to be different models? Is there I guess the convertible version versus the hardtop version? I mean, it is designed from a cockpit perspective, right? Like you said, the convergence of these three things. Walk us through that from a safety perspective.
Well, it is designed as an open air race cockpit, and with a optional hardtop roof to be put on for certain conditions. And the cockpit being a race cockpit means race controls, but also being from a safety viewpoint, to answer your question, when you're into the high levels of engineering of racing, of auto racing, which you're probably familiar with,
right?
The vehicles are designed with a monocoque cockpit integral structure for safety. So you've got incredible suspension, incredible safety features built into the vehicle. So it wasn't just enough to design a vehicle like this, but it has to be one of the safest vehicles on the road at the same time.
Well, no, I mean, obviously, when you look at Formula One, and then that you have that unicoque cockpit, right, for the individual, the safety around those vehicles, and obviously, this is a perfect lead into my next question. The relationship with REV Technologies. Obviously, we know Riley is a household name when it comes to racing and auto engineering, especially with their background. I mean, 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Viper GT3R, all the prototype cars. I mean, so you're talking about real serious American muscle here. But walk us through that background, right? What led to the REV Technologies and Riley? Talk about the joint venture. Get into the racing pedigree, because I think the more that the audience and our listeners, at least for the sake of this following, your company, is going to be really where the exciting future is for not just the release of this, but all the other innovations that you'll be coming out with, I assume.
It is, and it starts with the Riley brand. And the Riley name goes back to 1960, where it's been at the mainstay of North American automotive design, as you mentioned, winning the 24 Hours of Daytona 20 times, Riley designed or managed vehicles. So you've got a brand that has some unique qualities to it, which position us in a very unique position. Number one, it's an American company, so it's an American brand. Number two, it's got design and manufacturing capabilities internally, which is strong. And then number three, with REV Technologies, but we round out the third leg of the stool, being a consumer products division under the Riley brand. So what we've done is we've entered into a joint venture where we are going to be producing race-to-road technology vehicles under the Riley brand. And that really allows us to leverage the internal capabilities at Riley Technologies.
So obviously an incredible foundation. Most automakers, I would assume, don't have that level of experience from a racing, specifically road to race, commercially available product out there. So this really, you are essentially positioning yourselves to have engineering at the highest level. And then what I'm also seeing here is your production capabilities. Let's go into that. What are you expecting for the first models to run off time and capacity?
Well, we expect a time frame in about 18 months we'll be entering production with the StreetFighter, and that's capable because of our in-house joint venture. Where if we're doing carbon fiber bodywork, we're doing that internally. Uh, you know, the designs are done using FEA finite element analysis
Okay.
from CAD models, straight from CAD models. After that, 3D printing, tooling. And that kind of technology, when you're always forced to do a new race car design in a year, Riley Technologies is used to the highest level of engineering, hitting the track and delivering a product.
So initial timeline, you're thinking 18 months. People will obviously be able to put out deposits for this, which we'll get into, later down the road, pun intended. But with the total production cap for the first, we'll say the Alpha Street Fighter that's going to come out, the version 1, how many units is this going to be? A limited run to get the brand out there, or is it going to? Are you planning for mass consumer adoption because of the
Well,
price point?
let me start in year one. In
Sure.
year one, because we've got internal production capabilities in place at Riley Technologies, you're going to see a lot of limited editions with total production capped at no more than 500 units. So what that allows us to do is it allows us to scale assembly operations to increase as needed so we can set our inflection point for profitability.
Okay. So when you do that, what happens for year 2? Talk to me through the 3 to 5 year growth model, because a lot of the investors I know that listen to this program and a lot of the people that are audience members, they're always looking at the long-term sustainability and growth of a company, and they look at that 3-year to 5-year buy and hold. And I think that'll lead me into my next question, but I just want to get from your standpoint what that horizon might look like.
Well, it allows us to expand production against demand. And when you're creating a new category, that's pretty exciting. So in years 2 and 3 and 4, it not only allows us to expand production of the StreetFighter, but also we have other opportunities on the horizon that allows us to build the brand as well.
Do you want to go into what some of those are, maybe as a teaser?
Without anything specifically on the table,
Right.
I would say if you go to Riley Technologies website, you take a look at the RGT project, which is a ultimate sports car design, which has been on the design table for a couple of years. Riley has numerous opportunities in-house with REV Technologies that we can explore.
Wow, that's really incredible. So that's going to lead me into this. You did a merger with REV, with REV and obviously Riley, and then there was a merger into Quad M, publicly traded vehicle. Stock symbol is MMMM. So the relationship with what does that allow? Was that a strategic move from a management decision? Walk us through a little bit about that.
It's very strategic. What it allows us to do with the MMMM Quad M public company, it allows the individual investor to participate in our situation, in our growth. Number 2, it gives us access to Wall Street. But more importantly, we entered into the transaction because it also gives us the flexibility to go out and get venture capital money into a private REV Technologies company at private company valuations. And with that venture capital market, if that was to happen down one avenue, that would also be very accretive to Quad M.
So, no, I agree, absolutely. And from someone that spends a lot of time on Wall Street, I can tell you this is not only am I a customer, right, but I'm a fan. So being able to participate is actually really great. But let's go into a little bit of the numbers, right? We'll get into kind of some of the Wall Street numbers, if you will. Because of your JV with Riley, the budget that you're planning for the Street Fighter versus what these other companies have had to do. Things like, say, Harley Davidson on what they spent on their initial concepts. So given your motorcycle background, why is this so strategic between Riley, the in-house technologies, production. I mean, you went into some of the incredible technologies that you have right now, from the 3D printing to CAD to all of the advanced engineering. So just give us a little insight as to what that means for the industry and specifically for REV Technologies.
Well, over the next 18 months to get the StreetFighter into production, we expect to spend about $5 million, to give you a ballpark figure, just to get us into production. But comparing that to a three-wheeled project like Aptera, which is $100 million, you mentioned Harley-Davidson, the Livewire project was $100 million to get to that point.
Wow.
We're very confident of that budget with the people involved. That's one of the reasons, I was very excited to partner with REV Technologies. They are a world-class engineering company, and they're very good at what they do.
Well, and it's right here, made in America. So, I mean, you just listed from Harley-Davidson, the Aptera, $100 million for its three-wheel vehicle concept. Those are tremendous numbers versus $5 million. And so to me, it seems like the reason why you feel that this could be extremely competitive in launching a new product to the market is because of the REV Technologies and the Riley Tech being in a public vehicle, that you're able to get access to the capital you need. Pretty much, from what I would see on a worldwide basis, there's going to be a demand for this.
We expect that. If you look at the UK market with the Morgan three-wheelers, they're producing about 800 units a year. You look at as we mentioned, the Harley-Davidson Tri-Glide CVO trike at $50,000, producing about 1,000 a year. If you look at the Polaris Slingshot, producing 5,000 units a year, their top-of-the-line model being a Roush Slingshot. Mm-hmm. We really are a level above that. And it's not just the Riley brand on it. It is a Riley design. It is engineered by Riley. It's coming out of the Riley factory. And because we have that infrastructure in place, our burn rate with a joint venture partner to REV is kept at a minimum.
No, I mean, that's smart management decisions on your part. So, a big kudos to you on that. So really what we're looking at and we're going to see in the marketplace is REV Technologies, along with Riley, for the launch of the StreetFighter, is being positioned as that premium, high-end, luxury toy, essentially, that, people in a certain market demographic that have a certain, yearly income will be able to really have a lot of fun with, right? So it is aligning yourselves on the same sports level as the McLarens, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Aston Martins, etc., correct?
Well, that's kind of why I brought out the brand of Riley. When you look at their history of the race cars they've built and now having consumer products, so you've got a race pedigree, you've got design capabilities, manufacturing capabilities, and now consumer products. As the consumer products come out, we believe there's an opportunity for us in the marketplace for an American brand.
Yeah, well, I mean, I listen, as a fan, I can tell you when they did the GT3, that is a beautiful looking car, especially from a racing perspective. And of course, that was with Mercedes. So another big trusted name that large company is trusting the Riley technology with. So I think that speaks testaments to, obviously, the engineering capability, from a racing perspective, which leads from that road to race technology that you're saying. Just a couple of ending thoughts, because it's been obviously very exciting to speak with you, and we're going to keep this conversation going and follow this along the story of the production and really allow the general public and the people investing in entities like this and industries like this of getting kind of an inside look as to how the company is growing over time with the meeting of milestones and the kind of behind the scenes, not necessarily giving away the secret sauce, but I mean, exposing to look at the manufacturing capabilities at Riley Tech. So I look forward to, being boots on the ground and being heavily involved with the development of the messaging of the company, which is great. Now, John, a couple of things I want to get up to, okay? Obviously, down the line, because of Riley Technologies, their racing background. Now you have the StreetFighter. You mentioned a little bit of the electric space, which we won't get into this time, but we'll talk about it in the future. Do you feel that this is going to be competitive for Formula E? Are you going to get involved with Formula E or any of the e-racing teams that are out there? Or is the StreetFighter, you're going to have some models out there with some of the Riley Tech projects are out there for making your own race team?
I think for Riley Tech, I want to clarify, I don't see any plans to get into Formula E.
Okay.
For REV Technologies and Riley, some of the Le Mans hybrid cars right now have electric technology in them. So I think that's a natural step. but also for the StreetFighter. I look forward as we do these podcasts. It's almost, you've seen reality shows as things progress. We'd like to keep updating people with the progress of this project as we go through it. If that ends up in early production days, our joint venture provides co-manufacturing, co-marketing. So we'll be bringing the StreetFighter to the Riley races.
Wow.
There'll always be the opportunity maybe to take the StreetFighter on a Pikes Peak run or, something pretty exciting. So we look forward to updating everybody. If they want to go to stay up to speed on our website, which is RileyEV.com, and sign up for updates, that's great. But we also look forward to podcasts and sharing that the progress as we're making it without giving up the secret sauce.
Well, no, I think that's a great way to do it, John. I'm excited to keep following along with the project. I definitely would like to see this on the streets and on the roads and on the track too. I mean, I think that this is really going to be really something new and create that wow factor that I think the enthusiasts like myself and others are excited for. So I think it's going to be very, very exciting to follow. So, John, any last words for our audience before we sign off for today? Obviously, he gave you the website, ladies and gentlemen, which you can go to RileyEV.com. You can stay posted. Because they are in a public vehicle, there are going to be publications that come out. So make sure you follow the company, Quad M. Their stock symbol's MMMM. And obviously, if you want more up-to-date information, as we get new little teasers that come out, we'll be sharing that across our Twitter accounts, which is now X. All of our social medias, Instagram, LinkedIn, make sure you follow us, and we'll be obviously updating the market as well. So there's going to be plenty areas and avenues for you to follow what's going on with the company, because we're going to have a lot of insight into where they're going. So, John, any final thoughts that you'd like to leave with our audience today?
I would. I think the next wave of the EV market in our niche is to put the fun back into it. And Hunter, I could see you piloting a StreetFighter at zero latitude and really enjoying it. There's nothing more fun than that, and that's what we're all about.
Well, listen, sign me up for it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to wear the hat. I'm ready to put the race jacket on and hit the track and hit the road. So I'm very excited about it. So, John, thank you so much for joining the program. We'll be in touch. I look forward to hopefully bringing the next podcast out by touring some of the facilities and see kind of on the ground work that you're doing, and to take it from there right to our audience in real time.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, John. We appreciate it. Look forward to having you on the program again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was John Silseth. He's the CEO of REV Technologies. It's people like this and innovators like this that the Markets Hunter platform is about. We put this across to all of our social platforms to keep you in the loop of what's going on with these companies. And this is an exciting company. I mean, we don't see a lot of innovation in the auto space. I mean, we see a lot from, entities like Tesla and things like that. But from a sports car perspective, and being able to bring you insight information into what's going on with the company and keeping ongoing conversations, I think is important to having companies like this get out, especially with the Made in America brand, with a legendary racing technology brand behind them. Very, very incredible stuff. So make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast, this program. This will be on YouTube, LinkedIn. It'll air everywhere. And just stay tuned for it. We'll pin it to X.com and some of the other platforms as well. So if you miss this, make sure you share it with some of your colleagues as well. And we look forward to having more conversations with some of the team at REV Technologies and REV Technologies, and bringing you these conversations on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis, because this is an exciting story we want to get out there, especially with all of the innovation. So with that being said, Hunter, this is the Market Hunter Podcast. I am your host, Hunter, signing off for now. See you next time.